A Bad Dream. Value, forgiveness, and reconciliation. "Dad, how dare you look in my diary?" Max screamed at his father in fury. Chuck was red with anger at his little boy for what he read in that diary. "How dare you lie to me? You said you would never smoke a cigarette, and right here in this diary, you confess you have. Your promises are no good to me now, Max," Chuck yelled at his young son. "Well, my privacy is ruined. How can I ever trust you again?" Max said, crying. "Me? It's you who lied, and I can never trust you again. I wish I never had a son," Chuck said, and right away he was sorry he said that. Max burst into tears and ran out the door to go down the block to his friend's house to hide. Chuck slammed his hand down on the counter and hurt it. He hated fighting with his son. Parents hate it when their children are mad at them. It hurts them way down inside, but sometimes they are proud and don't know how to make things okay. "That kid drives me crazy," Chuck fumed, thinking of what he read in that diary. "Let him go. I will just take a nap." And with that, Chuck lay down on his sofa and went soundly to sleep. Chuck woke up suddenly and looked around. It wasn't his bedroom, but some other place. He was on a flat white stone sleeping, and there was no furniture, and everything was dark all around him. "Fluffy? Where are you, Fluffy?" Chuck heard a familiar sound. "Grandpa?" Chuck said as the elderly man walked past him looking for his dog. He was curious of how this could be, considering Chuck's grandfather went to be with Jesus long ago. "Well, hello, little Chucky. Are you okay?" "Yes, Grandpa. Just didn't expect to see you. Where are we?" "Well, I am in heaven. I am looking for our dog, Fluffy. You remember Fluffy? You loved him so much. Well, here he is now, and he still likes to run away. Where are you, Fluffy? Say, I am not sure why you are here. Is something wrong, Chucky?" "Well, I sort of had a fight with Max, and I guess that is on my mind." "Oh yeah, Max is my son, your great-grandson. He looks a lot like you, Grandpa." Well, I'm sure he is a spark plug like you and your dad were growing up." "Listen, the only regret I have from my life is that I went to heaven with some people who had not forgiven me. You probably know this, but when I died, I was not speaking to your mother, my daughter. It was something silly now that I look back on it. I wish I had apologized and got past it so I could have hugged her before. Arf, arf! Oh, there you are, Fluffy. Gotta run now. I have to get Fluffy home. Grandma is waiting and has supper for us," Chuck's grandfather said, and then he was gone. Chuck didn't know exactly what to make of it when he looked up and a large, powerful man walked past him as he sat on the slab. The man walked like he had someplace important to go and did not look to the right or left. "Dad?" Chuck said with amazement. The big man stopped in his tracks and looked at Chuck curiously. "Son, is that you? What are you doing here? Wait a minute. Are you asleep?" the big man asked. "Well, no, Dad. Well, yes, I think so," Chuck confessed. "I thought so," Chuck's deceased father said with his big barrel laugh. "Okay, spill it. What did you do wrong? When you were a kid, you always took a nap when you had done something wrong." "Well, it's Max. He and I had a fight. I read his diary, which was wrong, but found out he lied to me, which made me really mad, and now I can't forgive him," Chuck told his father, the one guy he could always talk to. "Chuck, do you think you have ever been forgiven?" his dad asked. "Well, by you maybe a few times. Try 10,316 times, Chuck. But that's not what I mean. Who forgave you of everything and made it possible for you to go to heaven." Chuck thought for a moment, and then he remembered his Sunday school classes when he was a child. "Jesus, that's it, isn't it? He died on the cross so I could be forgiven," Chuck said with excitement, forgetting the right answer. "That's right, Chuck. God forgave us all of lots worse things than what Max has done. And if he was willing to give his life for our forgiveness, it's the least you can do to forgive Max. Ask his forgiveness, too. Do it now, son, before it's too late." And with that, Chuck's dad stood and began to fade out. "Wait, Dad. I have to ask you about how to build a shed." "No time now, son. I have to go. Have you seen your grandpa? He just stepped out to walk Fluffy." And he was gone. Suddenly, Chuck woke up with a start. He realized he was home now, but the visits from his ancestors had not been for nothing. Suddenly, he heard the door to his house open. "Max, is that you?" Max entered the room looking very sad and staring down. Chuck stood up and put his hands on his shoulders and just said, "I'm sorry." To stop themselves from crying, which men don't like to do, Chuck and Max hugged, and Chuck knew he would never let some little issue come between him and his son again.